Right, good afternoon everybody. It's 9th of February 2021. We are expecting a pass of the International Space Station very, very shortly, and hopefully they'll be talking to a school in America by something what we call a telebridge. So the children will be on their computers linked to a chappie in Belgium somewhere, and he will be sending the radio signals up to the International Space Station. So we can't hear the children talking, but what we can do, hopefully, will be to hear the astronauts on board the space station talking down to the children. So we'll try and do that with a couple of different radios, and we've also got it running on the computer there, so we can actually track where the space station is. So it's about 10 minutes away at the moment. So as well as tracking the space station, we can also look at all sorts of different other satellites, and we can sometimes hear them. They always give a radio frequency down here, and some of them we're able to pick up on radio equipment. Now we've got that radio there, that's ready to listen to the ISS. That one is ready to listen to the ISS. And this one down here is possibly going to pick up some data from the ISS. If they're talking, then they normally switch that off, but if they're not talking, then they'll leave that one on. So we might hear some beeps and whistles out of that one. We're not sure. It all depends. Like I said, they've had some problems with cabling up on the space station, so we don't know if there's anything going to be happening today or not. It's all a little hit and miss today. So the ISS is about 10 minutes away. It's currently just over the east coast of the US, the States over here. It's just gone over Florida. This circle here tells us the footprint that the space station will have. So providing we're in that sort of circle shape, then we should be able to hear it. And we should get quite a good one today, because down here it's telling us that's how many orbits the space station has done. That's 126,881, and this is the time that we're likely to see it for, 1444 to 1455, so roughly about 11 minutes. And this here is the important one, 73 degrees. That's how high up off of our horizon it's going to be. So 90 degrees is straight up, so 73 degrees is pretty good. It never goes over 90 degrees because the ISS doesn't go over any higher latitudes than the UK. So that's quite good. This one here also tells us what direction it's going to be coming in. So it's going to be coming in from the west. It'll virtually go over, and then this needle will swing over to the east as it drops away from us. And when it drops away on the opposite side, it will actually be overhead in Poland. So that gives you an idea of how big the Earth is. I'm not sure if it's got the speed on there. Normally it's altitude is 421 kilometers. At the moment it's 5,600 kilometers away from us. So but yeah, so it won't take long to get here, about 8 minutes. And here we are, just about to get what we call AOS, which is acquisition of signal. It's 1 degree below the horizon, so you can see the ISS coming right up to the footprint of going over the UK. And right, so that's it. It's now flashing up saying that the space station is in range. ARIS stands for amateur radio on the ISS. That's what that stands for. And now we're just waiting to see if there's any noises from the radio. I'm not holding my breath. Oh, there we go.
first. Next question, how do astronauts stay healthy?
Giovanni, excellent question. Being healthy is very important. We actually have 3 exercise devices on the space station. We have an exercise bike that we can ride, we have a treadmill that we can run on, and we've got a machine that does the equivalent of lifting weights in space. Over.
What made you want to become a radio astronaut? What is your daily routine like?
Aiden, you know what? Every day is different on the space station. Some days we do maintenance, some days we do spacewalks, and most days we do a lot of science. Over.
What are sunrises and sunsets like on the ISS?
You know what? A lot of it's the same, but a lot of it's different. The sun and the stars look the same because we're not that much closer to them, but sunrises and sunsets are pretty spectacular from the space station, and of course we get 16 of them each day.
How does your ship get back to Earth?
Ryan, fantastic question. We always need a way back home. So our spaceship will undock from the space station, and it's got an engine on it, and we do a big engine burn that heads us back towards Earth. Over.
What is the weirdest thing that has happened to you in space?
Isabella, you know, I'm not even sure what the weirdest thing is. I think mostly it's very easy to lose things in space because if you don't put them down properly, they will just float away in no time flat. Over.
How do you feel emotionally and physically when you're on the rocket on the way to the ISS?
Annabelle, there's a lot of emotions involved in a launch. Mostly I'm very excited and a little bit hesitant just because you never know if everything's going to go right. But as soon as the engines light off, it's all excitement going up to the space station. Physically, it can be pretty hard on the body. You feel the force of gravity many times over when you're launching. On the way home, it's a lot of emotion there as well because it's a time where I know it won't be too long till I get to see my friends and family again. And once we get back on Earth, gravity is a little hard to get adjusted to again. Over.
What was your reaction when you found out you were chosen to go to the ISS?
Kaylee, I was so excited when I found out I was going to the ISS. It was something that I had been working towards my entire life, and to get the opportunity to actually do it is incredible. Over.
When you get back to Earth, how long is it before you can walk again?
Miriam, excellent question. Actually, when we get back to Earth, we have no problems walking, sort of, because of all the exercise we do up here. The biggest problem is your inner ear. The inner ear is what gives you your balance, and it works off of gravity. And because it hasn't had gravity in a while, it is very confused when you get back on Earth. You feel really, really dizzy for a while, and it takes a while to get over that. Other than that, you've got a lot of aches and pains while your body's adjusting to gravity again. Over.
How do you eat and drink in space without spilling and damaging your equipment?
Giovanni and Dylan, that is a very excellent question. Because if we don't keep our stuff in check, it will go everywhere and will damage equipment. But mostly, we have all our liquids in drink bags, so we drink out of a straw, so everything is contained. And all our food is a little bit wet, so it sticks to the spoon and doesn't go flying everywhere. Over.
What do you like to do for fun in space?
Ariana, honestly, I like to go flying through the space station like I'm Wonder Woman. I like to look out the window and see our beautiful planet, space. Over.
Are you able to bring your phones and other personal items with you on the ISS?
We actually are not allowed to bring our phones up here. We don't have access to cell towers, so they wouldn't do any good. But we are allowed to bring some personal items. I've got some pictures of my family, so I can always have them close to me. Over.
What's the first meal you're going to have when you get back to Earth?
What we want to eat. Last time when I came home, it was Thanksgiving, and so we had a turkey dinner as our first meal. Over.
What do you do if you get sick when you're on the ISS?
Valentina and Julia, we try very hard to make sure we don't get sick in space. Actually, we go into quarantine much like everybody on Earth is doing right now. We spend several weeks in quarantine to make sure that we don't have any illnesses. So we are not sick when we go into space, and we don't take any diseases up to the crew on the space station. Over.
How does it feel being inside the ISS? Does the temperature change?
Haley and Amaya, it's kind of like being in an office building all the time. The temperature and humidity doesn't fluctuate much. Sometimes it does a little bit, but it's kind of like just being indoors, but with a spectacular view outside the window. Over.
What would you do if you wasn't an astronaut? I think we're going to lose it. Right, we're losing it now because they've gone off.
So we've got food from all around the world. But my favorite food, I think, is actually the curry that we get from Japan. Japanese curry is the best. Over.
I think that was the last question anyway. That's our lot. Right, so that was a contact with ON4ISS, that's the amateur radio station on board the International Space Station. They were talking to a school, hang on.
Everybody, and I hope you all will consider working for NASA someday. Over.
And that is it, they've now gone. The astronaut that you've just heard on that station there is Shannon Walker. She was using the call sign NA1SS, which is one of the radio call signs they use from the space station. The school was in America, and they were using the internet to connect to a station somewhere in Europe, and we heard it as it went over us. So there you go, all a bit of fun with the what you can do with amateur radio and the space station. Bye for now.